Hello and welcome to another video. Today's video will be for a card that's a really special kind of design here. So notice we've got the stamping on this very vanilla here on the back, and we've got it here in on the sentiment, but notice there's actually a window sheet here that allows for this extra kind of layered dimension here. So this is the card I'm going to make for you, but I've switched up the colors a little bit. So instead of the Cajun Craze and the stripe pattern paper, we're going to use the one with the assorted leaves, and we're going to try it in early espresso. So let me show you how to make this card. It's not very difficult. First things first, you can do one of two things. You can either start with a card base and then cut it here and cut this strip, or you can just cut it as is. So this piece here, the piece you need, let me just set this one off to the side for a second. So this piece, notice here, it's almost like a full card base, right? But this piece is missing. So what you actually need, if you can see here, it is 5.5 inches, and you score it here where this is 1.25 inches. Okay, so either you score it this way at the 4 1/4, and you'll get 1 1/4, or you can just score it at this side at 4 1/4. At 1 1/4, I mean. So this is our card base, but you also need a 1.5 strip, or sorry, 1 1/4 inch by 5.5 inch strip, so that essentially these will be identical. Okay. So then, now for your DSP, you'll essentially just need 1 inch by 5 1/4, so that it layers on top there very nicely. And you'll need 3 of those. If you don't want to have this inner strip here, you don't need it. However, I liked the look of the, these like, I don't know, are those hay bale kind of, these grasses kind of bound together. I liked the look of them where it was kind of cut off, because I didn't like the idea of having just the ends being visible. So I did do that. Oh, and then you can tell I actually mixed up my my stamping a smidge, but hopefully the person I send this to won't notice, and I haven't made that mistake this time. So essentially, actually, I guess I'll show you what my mistake was, so you can kind of see it. It's not as obvious here, but it's obvious here. My ink pad was too juicy. There was too much ink on it, so it created this really kind of not, look at how lacking, notice there's like no definition there. All the lines are kind of blurring together, whereas it's a little bit better over here. So I had to actually push the ink down like I did in my previous video to do that. So I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'll show you how to make this card. So I'm changing up the colors, like I said, a little bit. And first things first, let's do our stamping, okay? So for this, I thought I would also change up. Here I used crumb cake for my stamp here, but I think I'm going to try Cajun Craze, and we're going to see if that is too much. And if it's too much, we'll flip our paper over and hope that is going to be forgiving. So let's move my early espresso over. I'm going to use that for my wheelbarrow. So there's my Cajun Craze. This is the ink pad that was a little juicy. So I'm going to do like last time and bring in my gift card and just push it down a little bit, because it's been a while since I've made my copy here. So there's that. Just push it down nice and easy. So now all I need to do is get my stamp. So I'm going to use this one, and in case you didn't notice, I did stamp once and then stamp off right next to it on both sides. And this time I'm actually, I wonder, maybe I'll stamp off on the other side. I don't know, we'll see. All right, let's stamp. So, and the trick here is you kind of want to go a little bit below that halfway point. So essentially you want it to be a little bit lower here, because then you've got this nice space from here and it's not kind of covering it up. Okay, so in case you want to do a measurement, looks like it's closer to, yeah, like about 1.25 inches down. So aim for just over an inch, and that's probably going to be a solid stamping there. So let's do, I think I decided that inside would be better. So we'll do the same thing here. You line it up, but you don't have to have it exactly the same. Is that? And there we go. And now my sentiment, I had done that one in my Cajun Craze, but because I think I'm going to do the wheelbarrow in Early Espresso, I'm going to do the sentiment in Early Espresso. So my Cajun Craze is all done. All I need now is my Early Espresso. And if you hear me wheezing a little bit, that is because I took my allergy medicine a little too late today, and as a result, I vacuumed in essentially, it's been a little while since I really needed to vacuum, and so I finally got around to it. It was fantastic, except for it's kind of kicked up stuff in the air, so my allergies are kicking up because when I finally went to the allergist a while ago, oh, I guess I should keep that out for my wheelbarrow. When I finally went to the allergist a while ago, my allergist is like, oh yeah, all your pets, you're allergic to all of them. So I love them dearly, but I am allergic to them all. So now I'm going to just tape that right down there. I'm actually just going to use my Tombow. You can use your snail. I recommend you use the seal. Eventually I'll get better about that. I feel like I'm not too bad, but the Seal Plus is going to be the one I recommend because we're going to be dealing with this acetate sheet. And when you're dealing with that, you really want to you don't want to mess around with the bonding. So this piece is now ready to be put inside our card. I'm going to set it off to the side, bring a scrap of Very Vanilla, grab my wheelbarrow. I used it for, good, that was Early Espresso. So I can just go ahead, stamp, stamp, stamp. And there we go. If you find that that is too dark, you could definitely stamp off, but notice that that's pretty light. So Early Espresso is such a dark color. If you don't like it for this card, Cajun Craze might be a good alternative. And if you're interested too, you could always use your blender pen and blend it together. Oh, well, see, I think I used but notice here how it's kind of lightening up that color and blending it out a little bit. Well, here, let me use it on here. So that could be another alternative too. And it makes that contrast not as stark of a contrast. I feel like this one might actually be finally dying off. Huh. I've had these for a while. So it's kind of nice that I've used them so much. Oh, yep, no, this one must be dead. Let's grab another. Here we go. This one looks brand new. So there we go. Notice here it's blending those colors really well. And this can be done for any of your cards. So whether it is a card, any of our ink pads that are water-based, essentially this can help mesh the color together to kind of have a better mix. So there's that. And then you would die cut that out and it would look like this. I kind of like that blended color. Let's try doing that. This one's been dry for a little bit, so that might make it a bit more muted. Let's see. Ooh, that's kind of nice. All right. Well, see, look at that. It'll be a little different. So there we go. We're getting there. So notice it'll make for a really unique kind of look. If you're sending this to somebody who loves sparkles, you could do this same thing, but with the Wink of Stella that we have. That would add a little bit of shine to it, but I'm already going to use this brushed copper metallic paper, as you can tell, to punch out one of my little wheel adjustments right here. And I just did that off camera as well. And I'm just going to use a glue dot to glue that, to glue that down. I'm now done with my ink. So let's assemble. So we've got our wheelbarrow. We just need to assemble it. I can move that off to the side and get my other pieces. So we've got this. we've got these. Let's adhere our DSP strips first. That way it'll have you one less thing we need to do. So notice this is the side that's got this like beautiful gold on it. There's always a little part of me that hurts to cover up the gold, but I loved the color palette. Actually, I'll just set this off to the side here. I love the colors of this other side of the DSP. It was just so pretty. That, and it's got a beautiful pattern too that goes really well with the oh goodness, oh, with this bundle, the Autumn Goodness bundle. Alrighty. So, not too much, but enough that it'll stick. Alrighty. So, and if you think that Early Espresso is too dark, you could definitely use either crumb cake, mint macaron, or you could use Cajun Craze like I did on my first one. No problem at all. So now you need a piece of acetate. You can do one of two things. You could cut an entire panel worth, so you could make it be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I actually just did 3 1/2. I wanted there to be a little overlap, but I didn't want it to be all the way down in case I measured a little bit off. So what I do, I actually add the glue runner, the tape runner on the paper, not on the acetate. I think it's a little bit easier to control that way. So I'm just going to run it down. And because I know how big I made it, I know that this here will be enough and it won't go over. So I'm just going to line it up and make sure I line it up there and it's even. Let's see. Yep. And then I just push it down. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this strip. So notice now, there we go. And if you want to know how much you can go with your strip, you can just do this. And notice I've got, it looks like about, just under, like a hair under 1/2 inch on this side. So as long as I stay within this first 3/4 of an inch, I'm all right. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to have it overlap just to make sure I've gotten good coverage. So there we go. And I did flip this so that I would use my more dominant hand there. And then I'm just setting it down first. So notice I need to actually kind of pick it up again and move it a smidge. And because it's acetate, it'll move a little bit. But that's why you definitely want to wait before you push it down. So there's that. And then, there we go. That's better. So now you've got your actual card. All you need to do, adhere this piece, and then you're almost done. And since this is just handy, let's use it. But I don't need on all of it since this is so much stronger. Looking good. But you do want to make sure you've got it exactly in the right spot before you push it down. And there we go. And then see, since I lifted it up, you do want to kind of push it down. If you don't like this look, you could adhere another panel of 1 1/2 or 1 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, no problem at all, and just attach it on top so that it would hide this line. And you could do that on both sides if that's something that you think either bothers you or you would just prefer that look. All right, so now again with my extra, that there's so many in the paper pumpkin boxes. So I just use an extra, use my nail, pick it up. I still haven't found my take your pick tool. I need to find that. My daughter's room is looks like a tornado hit it. It's really awful. There we go. So now notice I made my ink pad or my sentiment a little bit lower than I did on my previous one, but I still need this to be centered. So essentially I just need to set it a little bit lower. So I just put a little glue here, a little glue there, and that's all I need, especially since I'm using this Seal Plus. A little bit centered, and what I'm making sure is level is this and the bottom of the wheel. And there we go. You've got yourself another beautiful autumnal card in 2 different patterns. One had been pre-pushed down here. There we go. That's better. So, which design do you like better? I kind of like that they're both a little bit of their own. I feel like there's something to be said for both of them. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. If you want to get in touch and purchase any of the items that are available, that are needed to make this card, I'll have them linked below, and on my blog post you can click on those links directly to add them to a cart. If you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be happy to do that for you and, help you with all of your Stampin' Up! Needs. If you have any questions at all, feel free to get in touch, and I will see you guys in the next video.